geography lesson. If you start walking that way and you don't stop, you'll hit Portugal. Now you know. And now it's later. A lot later. Top of the morning. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
2020, the year of perfect vision. We are sorry. This obtaining the Falcon 2.0 process, we have not shot a frame of video in like a day and a half, and we are sorry. It's just been more of a process than we thought it would be.
It's like a moving day.
It literally, I mean, and one we didn't plan to do. I mean, you move into a new house, you kind of see it coming. We didn't see this coming. But we'll catch you up. I promise you, you'll see it. Well, you'll see a lot of it in the future, and we'll do a full walkthrough video at some point in the not too distant future. But this is our last full day of this trip, so we're going to try to make the best of it. We're running down to Huntington Beach State Park to do the first day hike.
Yay.
And we've got some company actually today.
Right.
Barrett, the Gimpy camper, and his family happened to be at Murrells Beach State Park. They just got here yesterday. So while we're here this same day, we're going to meet up with them and get to know each other a little bit. So you'll see bits and pieces of all that. Let's go. Huntington Beach State Park, about 15-20 miles down the road from Myrtle Beach State Park.
Yeah, not very far at all.
So this is the first hike thing. I think South Carolina Parks kind of does it, not at every park, but a lot of the parks around the state.
They do.
First opportunity of the year to break in the trails for the new year. So we get to be a part of that today.
And start your resolutions off on the right foot.
Start the disappointment early. Let's do it.
Hey! Welcome to Huntington Beach State Park. I'm Ranger Mike, and I'm going to be one of your guides today for our annual first day hike. If you're not familiar with the first day hikes, these are an initiative of the state park services all throughout the United States. So these walks are going on not just all throughout South Carolina, but also every other state in the country on January 1st. So for our first day hike today, we're going to be taking a walk down the Sandpiper Pond Nature Trail. We're going to be traveling through maritime forest and sand dunes, the beach along the edge of a brackish and freshwater marsh, amongst other habitats. The whole walk will take right around 2 hours, and it's about a 2.5 mile walk. And I tell you what, let me get up front here. The trailhead is right over here, and let's go ahead and get started.
And away we go.
Right by the
doing quote-unquote hiking in SC state parks for what, about a year and a half now?
Right.
And a recurring theme seems to be hurricane
Hurricane
damage.
damage.
It's like just about every trail we hike, we've got to see some kind of debris detritus from hurricanes.
That's right.
This is the first guided hike we've ever done, and it's certainly not like a hike, like, you know, but yeah, it's more of a
Informational.
pleasant walk. But yeah, I'm learning a lot.
Yeah, I am
I'm
too.
kind of glad we did it.
This area here, notice the rolling terrain.
Mhm.
Once again, these are all old ancient sand dunes that we're walking on.
Halfway point, stop for a nature call break. This is the campground. This is where, if we ever come back, hopefully we'll be. And the ocean is right on the other side of the tree line, so it's probably pleasant sound of waves crashing as we doze if we were here. So something to look forward to.
Definitely. January at the beach.
This trip has been so crazy. This is the first chance we've had to actually get within touching distance of the seashore the entire week.
That's right.
Those of you planning on perhaps someday coming to South Carolina and visiting Huntington Beach State Park, if you call, make it clear that you're trying to get to Huntington Beach instead of Hunting Island. Nice lady up at the park office told us they have that problem quite often. Folks will drive from hours away and get here and think that they're booked here, but they're really booked about 4 hours down the coast at Huntington Island, Hunting Island, excuse me. See, I'm doing it too. South Carolina Parks, Recreation and Tourism didn't do a very good job of linguistically distinguishing between the two properties, so be careful when you book a trip here. Okay, say goodbye to the ocean for now.
Bye.
So that was our first hike.
First day hike.
Yeah. And like I said earlier, that was interesting. It wasn't, a trudge through the deep dark woods exploring on our own, but we learned a lot. Definitely a different environment for most of our hikes. So
This is true.
Thursday morning, January 2nd, and we are in the process, I guess, of getting ready to head out. But since we've kind of let you down and not shown you much, we figured we'd do mission report here inside Falcon 2.0. And I'll give you a little glance here and maybe glance there.
Glance everywhere.
Full walkthrough camper tour video coming real soon.
Yes.
We promise we'll work on that. But the subject here today is mission report, Murrells Beach State Park. What do we think?
It was very, very nice.
I agree.
You don't even feel like you're in the hubbub of Myrtle Beach proper that can get a little crazy, especially during peak season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, keep in mind, we came in off-season, so we know our experience is vastly different than what it would have been if we came in the heart of summer. But Jesse's right. I mean, even though Myrtle Beach State Park is, less than 2 miles from Myrtle Beach International Airport.
Right.
It didn't even really phase us all that much. We heard a jet or two, but it wasn't like we were getting dive bombed or anything. I mean, and you really couldn't even hear traffic out on Highway 17, the main drag coming down Myrtle Beach. It's a nice little oasis in the middle of all this
the heart of
tourist hubbub. Yeah, it was really nice. The campground, even though it's huge, I think we said 278 sites is here.
It's huge.
And I don't think the place was slap full, but 2/3, 3/4 full.
At
I mean,
least.
it was a good crowd here, but it quiet and everybody was fairly well behaved. So if you can come in the off season, we heartily recommend it.
One of the things I noticed that might be a little bit cumbersome in peak season would be the entrance into the campground.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It tends to bottleneck right at the entrance where you would turn to go to whatever loop you are on, but also to check in, because we were scratching our heads a little bit to determine where we needed to park in order to check in to go to the site we had reserved.
I think the signage is not very clear as to where exactly you should stop your rig, get out, and go inside to check in.
So if it's a busy time and there are a lot of campers checking in, there's no way around them. You just have to sit in the traffic, unfortunately. That's our only negative, I guess.
That and the sewer outlets. This high off the ground.
Sewer tower.
But we've covered that. So.
But I do have to say their dump stations were very nice.
Yeah.
So if you don't use the full hookup sewer, you can benefit from those.
Which we'll end up doing with this. And we didn't even hook this thing up to sewer. We're going to dump on the way out because it's just it wasn't worth it. We did go hiking here as well as Huntington Beach. We did the hiking trails here day before yesterday, I think it was.
I lost track.
and we didn't spend a lot of I may show you a frame or two just so you can kind of see what they look like. But I mean, how much of our hiking can you guys really stand to watch? And we knew we were going to show you a first day hike, so we spared you that. But it'd be hiking trails here, not as long as at Huntington Beach, but it's all very nice. I mean, it was
very nice. Takes you right up to the beach.
Takes you all the way through and out to the beach, and a lot of information along the pathways telling you about the wildlife that's there.
That was nice.
So we recommend that too. Mm-hmm. And last night we had our second fellow YouTuber meetup.
Right.
We met up with the Gimpy camper, Barrett Schnicktel and his family, Valerie and Miss Lola. Nice to meet them. We had some
lunch and dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Lunch at our camper.
They were our first guests here. They came over and had lunch with us, and they had some things planned, so they went off and did those. And Barrett zapped me later in the afternoon, said they were going to do some grilling and asked us to come over there and sit by the fire. So we did that too. So we did a little bit of socializing and
it's very nice.
Talked some YouTube stuff and got to know some new friends. And
that's right.
That was fun. And we call ourselves Live and Learn RV, so we had to have learned something. So what did we learn this time around? I'll tell you what we learned.
What?
We learned that when your wife says, "Honey, let's stop by Camping World and just look around," ignore her. Tell her to hush and keep on driving.
No. This is fabulous. It really was not our plan. We tend to go and just look around and see what's new. And we had some time to kill that day, and
I think we were going to get seafood that night, and we were
a
little bit too early, and we ended up not getting the seafood because of all this.
We got it on a different night. It's all good. but we did end up with a really great deal, end of the year deal.
Believe me, if it hadn't been sensible, we wouldn't have done it. I mean, we were thinking about upgrading in the next year at the earliest. Really, we were thinking more like 2 or 3 years probably, but an end of the year clearance sale, and we had enough equity, I guess for lack of a better word, in Falcon 1.0, and they were desperate to make a deal, and the deal kept getting better and better and better, and it got to the point where we're kind of stupid if we turn this down.
Right.
So.
And if you saw our 10 questions episode, you know there were a couple things that we wished we could update and have, and
we covered them.
we pretty much covered them. So You'll just have to wait and see.
And to the person that commented on our 5 storage ideas video, and I can't remember what the question was, but I responded to that person in a joking manner about one of the solutions we did not offer was get a bigger camper.
So we did.
Still don't necessarily recommend that, but
only if you can get the kind of deal we got. And they were fantastic at Myrtle Beach Camping World. They really were.
People say bad things about Camping World, and sometimes they're justified. And all we can attest to is the experience we had.
Yeah.
And that day and that crew, those folks bent over backwards to get us in this and get us situated properly. They did a lot of extra work for us. They gave us a lot of things that we needed to change out rigs, different power cables and things like that. We left the power cable there at the dealership when we came, and they brought it out to the
campsite
out here to us.
Yeah.
They brought it to us. So kudos to the crew at Camping World Myrtle Beach for this experience. We were grateful for it.
Yes. Our next trip will be to Hickory Knob State Park in February. It's wintertime, so it's okay to camp in winter in the South.
No such thing as off camping season in the South. So we will keep our promise about the camper tour video. Stay tuned for that. That will be the next video.
That's right.
And then after that, Hickory Knob. So until we meet again, as we have repeatedly done and will continue to do,
Keep living and learning.